Hi, my name is Nicole, and today I will be discussing coping with stress. There were several topics to choose from this assignment, topics of all different kind, regarding many different topics. All the ideas that were listed hold their value and are vital to discuss. However, the topic that I chose was a personal and relatable to many individuals in the world today, teens, young kids, and adults. The topic I chose is coping with stress. This is something that many individuals struggle with on a regular basis. Whether it be work, school, relationships, and the list could go on, everybody struggles with stress. Stress is most definitely unhealthy for someone mentally and also physically. Stress can tend to overwhelm someone and cause them to have a complete breakdown. It is a relevant and hard issue to deal with not only in your life but in the lives of others. Stress is defined by the Mental Health Foundation as the degree to which you feel overwhelmed or unable to cope as a result of pressures that are unmanageable, unquote. Coping with stress is not always easy, but it is definitely important that we find ways to deal with it, else it will completely take over our lives or ruin someone's life. Help guides suggest why it is important to cope with stress and finding coping mechanisms. They state, and I quote, "Effective stress management helps you break and hold stress that has on your life. You can be happier, healthier, and more productive. The ultimate goal is a balanced life with time for work, relaxation, and fun, and the resilience to hold up under pressure and meet new challenges head on," unquote. As mentioned in the book, Psychology in Everyday Life, stress may not cause illness, but it does make us more vulnerable by influence our behaviors and psychologically. Stress may not be diagnosed illness, but it can lead to many issues such as heart disease, stressors, anger, depression, and unhealthy behaviors, which include smoking, drinking, poor eating habits, and many other things. Therefore, I believe it is extremely important that we find ways to deal with stress and how to cope in stressful situations as we go through life. Thank you. Now that we have discussed what stress is, stressors, and why it is so vital to come up with coping mechanisms and ways to cope with stress, I will now show you a few ways that you can cope with stress and some of my favorites that I use when I become overwhelmed with stressful situations. While those are just two of the ways to cope with stress, I believe there are many more, such as listening to music, praying, reading your Bible, going outside, asking people for advice, and inviting them into your life. One of the ones that I tend to use the most is listening to music. Not just any type of music, but specifically classical music. I believe that it's scientifically proven that classical music tends to help an individual the most when it comes to studying or doing projects. Therefore, when I have big assignments due or I am studying or working on a project, I listen to classical music and that tends to help me. I hope that these coping strategies help you and that you learn something new, and I hope you find your certain ways to cope with stress, because I believe in the end stress is a very vital issue that many people deal with. It comes from overloading ourselves with too many activities or projects, and therefore I believe if possible, it is important that people learn to say no to things, because stress comes from overwhelming our plates. If you can't say no, I believe it is extremely important to prioritize what needs to come first, make a checklist, put first what needs to be first. Stress happens to everyone, but there are certain ways to relieve the stress from someone. Therefore, I believe and I hope this video will help. And I also firmly believe that coping strategies are a necessity in everyday life, not just in school, but when it comes to activities and as we go on through life. So, thank you.